The hour now being 6 o'clock, we're going to call this meeting to order now that we have a quorum. But before we begin, we just have a quick announcement from Selectman Jeff Ryan.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending this evening. The Board of Selectmen has been working on trying to improve communication in town. We have a two-pronged approach to that. One, we're in the process of redoing our website, make it more presentable, make it easier to find information, find news. We'll also have the ability to push information to you should you choose. The other piece of information that we are working on is a reverse 911 system or emergency alert system. Through the guidance of Chief Tebow, our fire chief, that system is up, running, and ready to be used. Above me, if you could pull out your phone, scan the QR code and sign up, it would be greatly appreciated. Say again? I am. I'll get a little closer. So what we, just quickly, we have a new emergency alert system to contact you should there be road closures, other things along those lines. The QR code on the screen above Annie, if you scan that, Annie will think she's got paparazzi going on, but the truth of the matter is, if you scan that code, that will bring you to the sign-up page for our alert system. So thank you all very much.
Okay, if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and now I'll read the warrant. Pursuant to within the warrant, I have this day notified and warned the inhabitants of the town of West Bridgewater qualified to vote in elections and town affairs to meet at the time and place within mentioned by posting various attested copies of the within warrant at various locations throughout Precinct 1 and 2, 14 days at least before the aforesaid special town meeting. Patrick J. Galligan, Constable, Town of West Bridgewater. And before we start into the motions, Dave Gagne has an overview.
Thank you, Annie. My name is Dave Gagne, and I'm the Town Administrator. The Board of Selectmen has asked me to give you just a very quick summary of tonight's meeting. There are 3 warrant articles that will be before you. 2 of them are financially actionable. All 3 articles will be moved by the Board of Selectmen. Article 1 is because, unfortunately, our town moderator could not be here this evening. So our town clerk has volunteered to be the temporary moderator and to preside over the meeting. She's qualified, and she's been prepared for the meeting as well. So the Board of Selectmen will make that motion, ask for a second, and as long as the town approves it, she will then preside as town moderator this evening. If somebody else would like to be the moderator, that person could be nominated, and then we would hold a vote. And if that doesn't occur, then the town clerk will preside for the rest of the evening as town moderator. Article 2, the Board of Selectmen will ask you to consider purchasing land on Howard Street. The price is $430,000. It is 7.6 acres. It is free cash, so there is no borrowing. Article 3 will be a land purchase as well that they will ask you to consider. It is on Bryant Street. It is 23+ acres. The price is $1 million, and it is a borrowing article. Last item of note, Congressman Lynch has been in touch with our office over the past week. He is en route from Washington, D.C. He is hoping to be able to address the body if he's able to get here in time. So if he does show up at the discretion of the moderator, she will allow him to be able to speak at whatever time is most appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, so the first article, Selectman Mike Perez.
Move. Just kidding. Move to see if the town will vote to nominate and elect a temporary town moderator, Annie Inatelli, town clerk, to moderate the meeting pursuant to Article 4, Section 3 of the town's general bylaws, or take any other action relative thereto.
Do I have a second? Is there any discussion?
You win.
I guess I win. So hearing no other nominations, I will remain monitor for the town meeting, and Sharon Ledeen will come forward and act as town clerk for the meeting.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as temporary moderator in accordance with the bylaws of the town of West Bridgewater and the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so help you God?
I do. Okay, so we'll move on to Article 2. Is Marcy Lee, Selectman?
Apologies. To see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash $430,000 to be expended by the Board of Selectmen to purchase 0 Howard Street, West Bridgewater, Mass. 02379. More particularly described in a deed recorded with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds in Book 58400, page 80. This parcel contains approximately 7.6 acres and is shown on the Town of West Bridgewater Assessor's Map as parcel number 46-015, or take any other action relative thereto.
Second? Okay. Finance Committee?
Sorry about that. The Finance Committee recommends unanimously.
Board of Selectmen?
Board of Selectmen recommended unanimously.
Okay. Before we start with any discussion, I just want to go over some ground rules here. If you'd like to speak, you must come up to the microphone. You must state your name clearly and your address. And I know there is some passion about these articles, but we're going to have a healthy discussion. There will be no yelling, no accusing, no outbursts from the floor. They will not be tolerated. And you will need to stay within the scope of the article, or you will be stopped. Only come to the microphone if you have something new to add to the discussion. Please, no repetitions. Do we have any discussion? Come on up to the microphone.
Hey, Peter Turner, 390 Forest Street. Had 2 questions, please. First one is, why are we not using CPC or money for this? And secondly, there's the answer to the second question.
Okay. Can someone answer that?
So the recommendation was to use free cash instead of CPA funds because simply you just don't have enough money in your CPA account. You've drawn down all of your open space money, and you only receive as a total bucket of CPC funds about $250,000 to $275,000 per year. So the only way to be able to use CPC funds for this purchase would be to borrow, which would obviously add cost. We do have about $3.1 million of free cash, and as a result of having that amount of cash, the board agreed that they thought the best thing to do, not impact the tax rate, use cash, not incur borrowing, and that's why we couldn't use CPC funds.
If I can continue just a little bit with the map that's above us. The article, the piece of land we're looking at is off West Center Street. It's highlighted in yellow, number 15. If you look to the upper left, you'll see something marked 99. That is the high school. If you look somewhat directly above it, you'll see something labeled 3. That is a public safety building. To the right of that, 92, is a council on aging. The properties in green, number 10 and number 9, are already owned by the town and already town property. And obviously, parcel number 15 is up for discussion. There are some restrictions that I want to just get out in the open as quickly as I can regarding the purchase of this property from the Howell family. It's in small print, so if you could bear with me. The town will not resell the land to a third party or develop it into a municipal building, commercial building, or other structure. Allowed uses: flower/park gardens, town park, recreational park. The Howell name will be used to name the property. The family would like to ensure that traffic/neighborhood is not greatly impacted as to not have street parking, etc. Buildings needed for park restrooms and necessary minor structures would be allowed. So those are somewhat the conditions in the purchase and sale, should we move forward with this property tonight. To speak to the property, obviously it's located in the center of town. It is in a prime spot located between ultimately, basically the Howard School and the high school. Again, it's a property that it would be great not to develop with buildings, but it's a property that would be great that maybe we can expand, whether it be school fields, walking trails, something like that. But at the end of the day, to purchase this property and not have, making it up, but 25, 30 apartments, nobody suggested that, but to preserve this property in that manner is something that I think could be beneficial to the town. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? Hearing no one else, I will call for the vote. It is a 2/3 vote. So if you vote yes, you're voting for the purchase of the property. If you vote no, you're voting against it. So all of those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It passes by 2/3. Two-thirds declared. Article 3, Selectman Jeff Ryan.
Move to see if the town will borrow $1 million to be expended by the Board of Selectmen to exercise the town's right of first refusal of 61A property located at 0 Bryant Street, West Bridgewater, Massachusetts, 02379, more particularly described in a deed recorded with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds in Book 4450, page 54. This parcel contains approximately 23.68 acres and is shown on the Town Bridgewater Assessor's Map as parcel number 53-054, or take any action relative thereto.
Do I have a second? Second. Finance Committee?
Finance Committee voted a split vote to recommend 5-2.
Board of Selectmen?
Board of Selectmen recommended 2-1.
Did you want to speak to the motion?
Yes, if I could.
Okay.
So part of the 61A process in town is to get feedback from various committees. I just want to share that feedback as I begin a discussion regarding this property. The Board of Assessors voted unanimously to purchase this property. The Conservation Commission voted unanimously to purchase this property. The Board of Health voted unanimously to purchase this property. The Agricultural Commission didn't state their vote, but recommended the purchase of this property. The Open Space and Recreation Committee voted unanimously to purchase this property, and the Planning Board voted 3-1 against purchasing the property. In town, we hear a lot today about traffic. We're in the process of investigating purchasing a new school because our elementary schools are full. We hear enough about water issues in town and the struggles we have with maintaining the demand for water. And we hear a lot about open space being developed. The town doesn't get presented this opportunity very often. This is an opportunity brought to us because of the 61A agreement. And it's a unique opportunity for the town to address some of the negative feelings we all have towards growth in this town. Growth, traffic, and the expenses that are coming with that. Currently in town, we have 28 new houses to be built on Crescent Street. We have 5 additional houses to be built on Spring Street. We still have housing being built off of Scotland Street. We're looking, we're conservatively looking at least 30, 35 houses plus whatever is still left to go on Scotland Street. We have a considerable amount of growth still taking place in town. Been asked the question what the town would do with this land. I think the question that I want to ask is really what would happen to it if we didn't own it, right? It would be additional development, additional expenses as it relates to the town. I understand that, we are spending some money to purchase this. There is a slide, Christine, if you can go to the expense slide. I think it might be the very last one. So on this slide, it breaks out. The top part was for Howard, but the bottom section deals with Bryant Street. An estimated cost on a 20-year $1 million loan. It shows the interest there, but the estimated cost for the 20-year is roughly $20, assuming if the average house value at $490,000. If we took a 30-year term, the cost of this land would be $15, again, on an annual basis at the average house price, or the value of the house at $490. So while $1 million is nothing to sneeze at, and if you throw the interest on there, or if we do borrow, we are borrowing either 1.2 or I can't read it, but 1.4, whatever the 30-year interest is. But I think it's a small price for the town to pay to preserve a piece of land that's located fairly close to the center of town, and to save it and set it aside for future growth. There are no restrictions on this particular piece of property. Thank you.
Do we have any discussion?
If you folks want to come in and find a place to sit, please come on in. There's a lot of people in the hallway, so please, there's plenty of seats. Come on in if there's anybody out there.
Hi, Karen Holmgren, 326 Spring Street. Has there been a cost assessment of what the public works costs would be to facilitate and increase all of the, like you said, the school, the water, the infrastructure of the town that may be larger than this $1 million cost? Thank you.
So it's hard to project a number. Number one, the developer can build as many houses as he wants at whatever size he wants. So without having, with it out being built, you can't say taxes on this house is this, expenses for school are this. I will say in general, taxes, if we took a house that cost $1 million, taxes today around $15,000. That's in the ballpark of what we pay per student. Not exactly, and again, I can't project this out, so I'm not speaking with hard numbers. But I think if you look at it and you try to calculate something out, over the costs, assuming I can't do it, just because we don't have, as a general rule, one person in the house paying taxes, it's a break even, maybe the town comes out ahead. You get 2 students in a house paying taxes. I don't think there are any $2-3 million houses in town, but the average house where you've got 2 students in and you're paying taxes, it's not right to say it this way, but it's costing the town money. We go into the red a little bit just based on education. Not that we shouldn't educate, not that we shouldn't do everything else. And we have other offsets. We have people, like I've had 3 kids go through the school system. Right now they're not. I'm paying taxes. We have commercial base, and as much as we don't like new buildings and new things like that, but the commercial base offsets some of that cost. So you can't project out, but as a general rule, 1 student, 1 house paying taxes, it's probably not a cost to the town. 2 students in a normal size house in town, it's a cost to the town. I'm trying to be vague intentionally because there's so many variables in that number. So.
Robert Upton, 51 Bryant Street. Just a question, the house that's on that property, does that go with the property or is that separate?
The house does not go with the property.
Good evening. I'm Jonathan Ames II over on Orchard Drive.
What number Orchard Drive?
11 Orchard Drive.
Okay, thanks.
I am also chairman of the Historical Commission. Last night we had our monthly meeting and we spoke on this item. It's popular here in town. We spoke favorably on the town acquiring both properties, both the Howard Street and the Bryant South Street property, and this was previously discussed by yourself, the chairman, that concerning conservation, open space, and preservation, these two fields are really, they symbolize what makes West Bridgewater unique, our farming, our rural heritage. And if we miss the opportunity to preserve these two fields and these two spaces, then this opportunity to preserve our heritage and maintain what ultimately makes West Bridgewater special, what we all love about West Bridgewater, we could lose that opportunity for forever. I know there's certainly commercial and economic opportunities and costs to discuss. I'm certainly not discounting that. But with the Historical Commission having the advisory role that we do, we spoke favorably on the town acquiring both properties, and we just hope that everyone keeps that in mind as well. So, thank you.
Marion Leonard, 7 Highland Ave. I'm not a townie. I wasn't born and brought up in this town, but I've lived here for well over 50 years, so I have a deep interest in it. And I have a deep interest in the land that we have and to preserve the land as it is. Partly because we built this beautiful school, which we needed, and now we're talking another school, and part of the problem is because there's so much building, we have more kids. The more kids we have, the more schools we're going to need, and it's just going to snowball. And I think it's really important to preserve every bit of land that we can. I know our taxes are going to go up, but you know what? To me, it's worth it because I love the land as it is.
Thank you. No outbursts, please. Sorry.
Hey, dear. Jenny Williams, 47 Tiffany Circle. I've lived in West Bridgewater for 23 years, and I'm a newbie, kind of. I made the big jump from East Bridgewater. Before I say anything else, Jeff Ryan for president. I swear you are wonderful. And he used to live next door to me, so he didn't pay me to say that. I had a question. I agree with everything Marion said. The traffic in this town is horrendous. Everything is being built up. Would we need a new school if we didn't allow so many houses? What's wrong with just keeping it as it is? I think maybe even Roberts uses it for agriculture. Why not keep it? What's the big deal? I would like, and I know it's a lot of money. Nobody wants to pay more in taxes, but face it, we never get a rebate on our taxes when they build more houses. So it's worth the extra money. My question is this: why can't we use money from free cash? Because we have 3.1 million, is that what I said? Well, can't we use some of it and not borrow as much? Well, maybe even the CPC or whatever that is. I don't know. Just asking.
So you do have the option to use free cash. Is this on? Okay. You do have the option to use free cash if you would like. We looked at the numbers. We do have $3.1 million. You have now spent $430,000 of it, so you have about 2.6 or so. But you have to understand that we're going to have our annual town meeting in May, and we always spend $350,000 of it to lower your tax rate as part of the budget motion. And then we spend the rest of it usually on capital improvements in town, and we don't know what those are yet. So we're trying to be prudent with the cash, because just because we borrow tonight does not mean that we can't use the free cash in the future to be able to actually pay it off. So we want to make sure that we know that we have capital improvement in some large ones that are coming forward in the future. And so we want to make sure that we have the best use of our resources. So that's why at this point, without knowing the future, we thought this was the right recommendation.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we're going to call for the, oh, come on.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Macy. I'm actually the developer that has...
What's your address, Charlie?
Sorry about that. 14 Stony Road here in town, West Bridgewater. The developer has Bryant Street under agreement. I just wanted to clarify some things. My intent is not to try to put 30 or 50 homes or anything on this property. I've been dealing with Kevin Parker, a great guy who currently farms it. My intent is to put 8 homes on the property and keep the rest of it as a farmland. Kevin would continue to farm it. So when we hear the things about traffic or things, I'm not trying to put 100 homes here. It's not my intent. I would like to just clarify that. Number one, I've been clear, transparent, working with everybody in the town from day one. I provided plans showing wetlands, showing about the parcel. I've dealt with Mr. Gagny, I've talked to several selectmen, the conservation, and worked with everybody in the best we could. So just wanted to clarify that. You know, 50% of the parcel is unusable wetlands, so it wouldn't take a significant amount of houses as you would think. Also, the cost per acreage here is more than we've ever spent on any other parcel, including the one that we just voted to buy. I don't know if anyone watched me, but I raised my hand and I was for the property that we just bought. It made sense. It was in the center of town. It connected to trails. It was accessible. This parcel does not connect to trails. It does not connect to any other parcels that would benefit us. Basically, there was a book that was written basically identifying important properties here in town. This property was not identified. So I'm wondering what changed now from then to now. I totally understand. This is why I want to also kind of have a hybrid and preserve it as a farm in the back, and the houses would be up front. Also, to talk about children in the school system, I understand we have a total of 2,900 housing units here in town. Out of the 2,900, we have 1,300 children in our school system. So it's really under one. So to say that it's a cost, to say that it's a cost is not accurate, and I think Jeff kind of alluded to that earlier. I'm happy to go over any questions anybody might have. I've been in town a while. I've always dealt with officials, and I've always done what I say I'm going to do. And I continue to plan on treating this property the same, and hopefully keep the back of it as a farm is my intention at this point as well. To answer if anyone has any questions.
If I could just echo Mr. Macy, we spoke early on. You've been a gentleman in the process. You know, developer can maybe have a negative tone in some respects, but that is not how I view you or view you in this process. Both as a resident, as a developer, like you've been very open, very honest with us, and I do greatly appreciate that.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm Janice O'Brien. I live at 6 Taylor Ave in West Bridgewater. I'm also the vice president of the Old Bridgewater Historical Society. And one of the reasons why we are interested in the town purchasing this property is it does back up on town property, the old cemetery. And right now, we all know there's nowhere to park there. You're parking on a curve along the side of South Street. You open your door and it could be taken off. This gives us an opportunity for when and if this property is developed in the future for the town, such as fields or anything else, it would give access to the old cemetery there. We'd have a chance to have parking there, as well as, who knows, we could have some nature trails in some of that area that is wetlands, which I don't believe it is 50% wetlands, but I know that there are wetlands on that property. And I also want to thank everybody for voting in the property on Howard Street, which it's right next to the Old Bridgewater Historical Society as well. Thank you.
Rebecca De Oliveira, 271 South Main Street. Just one thing that no one's brought up yet is, I understand that they're saying just 8 houses, but what will that 8 houses take away? How many foxes, how many coyotes, how many black bears all of a sudden? Are we going to start having more in our community? I swear I saw a bobcat near 24, not with the traffic, but it was there. So I ask you, like, are we talking like 18? Are there going to be 8 18s? Or are we talking small little houses? And when someone says they can't build on wetlands, I don't believe it anymore because I've seen it happen in West Bridgewater. They make it happen. So all I'm asking you is, at least, like, I know we're always like animals. I saw a coyote there, I saw a coyote there. Think about what that's going to also do to our animals and how it's going to get brought more into our neighborhood settings if we're losing this. Okay.
Thank you. Please, no outbursts.
Hi, Paula Bunker, 123 North Elm Street. The one thing I just want to point out, because I think the room kind of already has its mindset, although Mr. Macy says he's only building a few homes on the Bryant Street property, the one thing I don't think was mentioned, he also purchased that South Street property, which backs up to Bryant Street, that big house that was, the old house that was torn down. So that property abuts it, and Mr. Macy already owns that. So if he purchases that, that adds more space to add more houses. So just something to think about. Thank you.
Just wanted to, Charlie Macy again, just wanted to correct Mrs. Bunker. The property at 58 South. Any better? Yes. Want to clarify something on 58 South Street. I went to the town. That was an old historic house. Went to the town. It was dilapidated. I went to anyone that would listen that would want to come in. I donated significant items to the Historic Society. I also worked with the Bennett School and their students to remove many of the items that I donated for their establishment. The Hatch Mill Group has provided me with a thank you letter that we've given many things for their non-
Maybe go to the other side.
Hello. So out of that home, we've done everything possibly to try to save that home, and my intent was not to buy that home to add more houses to Bryant Street, contrary to what Mrs. Bunker thinks or says. Just letting you know that that parcel that has nothing to do with Bryant Street has that will accept 2 homes on it. I didn't buy it to put another 50 homes in. I also tried to restore it. The building inspector, the commissioner, the Historic Society, many people have walked through. So it'd be kind of nice when somebody told a story to tell the whole story instead of part of the story. It'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Jonathan Ames, the second 11 Orchard Drive. I don't mean to drag this on any longer, but Mr. Macy was very attentive throughout the process of the South Street property. He contacted me, allowed me to walk through, photograph it, document the property. We went into the basement. We took photographs of the foundation, the roof. We did a property assessment. He did donate items to the town museum, which I intend to introduce as a new exhibit into the museum. So his attention to detail and his concern for preservation is well attested for. So.
There's a little switch right in the front.
Scott Holmgren, 326 Spring Street. You mentioned that there were no restrictions on the property as a point. Does that mean that the town can sell it in the future for whatever profit that may come?
Yes.
To whomever?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Robert Anderson, 51 Commonwealth Ave, West Bridgewater. Few questions or comments. Who came up with the $490,000 average home price? You're pointing this way. No, no, no. The new tax increase was based on average house cost of $490,000. Where did that come from?
So the assessors run that, and so that's a byproduct of what the assessors have. So there's no doubt that many people have homes that are assessed more than that, but it's just math. That's what the average assessed value is in the town, and it's from the Board of Assessors.
Okay. Personally, I think that's a little bit low, because if you read the real estate papers, most of your houses are going for a lot more than that. My other question would be, did the town have the opportunity to purchase the land off of Crescent Street that's being developed? Did they have the opportunity to buy that land?
No, Bob, that wasn't, or Robert, that wasn't part of 61A.
Okay. Well, in regards to animals being displaced, the West Meadows project is probably going to displace a lot more animals than the Bryant Street project. Personally, I'm against the purchase of the property, not because I don't want to preserve land in West Bridgewater, because I do, but, you know, part of it's going to be built. I trust Mr. Macy when he says I'm only going to put 8 houses on it. He's never lied to anybody that I know of. You know, it just doesn't, with the price of a new school, we're looking at a new school, we're looking at some severe water issues, amongst other costs. I just personally don't think it's a wise purchase at this time. And again, it's going to increase people's tax rates, and I honestly believe the $490,000 figure is really lowballing it. So, you know, I don't know about anybody else, but every time I look at the newspaper, there's 600,000, and the ones on Scotland Street are close to $1 million. So I just don't think it's a wise purchase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Ames, Orchard Drive, West Bridgewater. If the town was to vote and purchase this property tonight, and the town decides to turn around and sell it, what would be the process in selling the town? Who would have that decision to sell it in town? Who would have to vote on it? Who would make that call? Thank you.
All land, unless there are very few restrictions because of conservation. If somebody were to donate it to conservation, it's a different issue. But in 99% of the cases, all land purchased and all land sold requires town meeting approval.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote. Again, this requires a 2/3 vote. If you vote yes on this, you're saying yes, you would like to purchase the land. If you vote no, you're saying no, you would not like to purchase it. So our first one is going to be a voice vote. So you're going to say yes if you want it, no if you don't want it. All those in favor? Yes. All those opposed? No. So we're going to do a hand count. I'd like to call the tellers up, please.
Should they come down there?
No, you can just do it right there.
Stand over there?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, you. Hello. The key didn't work. I tried to get it too close. Oh. We do. We're in the middle. Yeah, you said the people in the center are doing the center of the bag. center of the back, not the whole back.
No, yeah, we're doing just
And the people on this side, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that they knew they were doing the back. What we did, you done this before?
No, it's my first time.
Okay, so what we do is you go down off the top, go down over the back, and then do not add yourself in yet. And then if we agree on the number, we write it down. If we don't agree on the number, then we do it again. Alrighty?
Do you want to hold this because you get the pen? You're more senior than me. You got this pen? Thank you. Appreciate it. Only write cursive, okay? I was trained in that. I'll write it on.
All right. Shannon.
And this is, you gotta get one, you have to take one and do these two. Okay, so here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna call for the people who are in favor, the people that want to say yes. You're gonna hold your cards up high in the sky, and you're gonna leave them up there until I tell you to put them down. So all those in favor, raise your cards, please. Don't forget yourself. You guys are good, yeah. Mm-hmm. You're gonna give those pieces of paper to Scott. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I wasn't here. I had to go to the bathroom. Sorry.
Tell us, make sure that you include your own votes in your count. Okay, so now I guess we're all set. You can put your cards down, and all those people that are opposed, that want to say no, put your cards up in the air and leave them up there. I'm not supposed to as moderator. I'm not supposed to as moderator. Not as moderator, no. I can break the tie. You can sign right there. I know, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, it looks like you can put your cards down.
Can't take you anywhere.
Okay, so the votes are yes, 131, no, 83, so it does not pass. And hearing nothing else, I'm dissolving the meeting now at 6:48. Thank you very much. No, I said yes, 131. No, it has to pass by 2/3 vote. Thank you. Have a good night. You guys did a great job.